Good morning again. We're carrying on, talking about wealth, trying to seek some wisdom from the book of Proverbs. So far, we have said a few things. We've said that seeking after wealth is a poor source of happiness. It's a great source of temptation. And it has this incredible ability for us to look down on people when we have it. And we look down on those who maybe don't have as much as we have. We're seeing some of the negative side of what wealth is about, and I hope that you have been able to journey this tough subject with me. But today we need to understand the responsibility of wealth brings. Now, we tend to think that responsibility is a negative thing. We say, well, with every privilege comes a responsibility. We say, oh no, tell me responsibility. Well, I want to suggest to you that the gloriousness of this responsibility is huge. Like a bodybuilder who parades his power and parades his strength, he needs to use his strength for something, because the real glory is not in his parading of power, but is in his pursuing of the purpose of his power. Now, when we look into the scriptures, we see today an understanding of the Psalm 23 principle. I love this. And Psalm 23 closes with these verses and says that goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. It says, my cup overflows. And the source of my goodness and mercy is found in an overflowing cup. Now, you can look behind you today and you can say, what have I left behind me? Sadly, for some people, all they've left behind is negativity and pessimism and problems and tragedy sometimes. But when we're able at the end of our lives to look back and say, man, I can honestly say that my cup has overflowed with the blessing of God. He's blessed me to be a blessing. And I can look behind and I can see that goodness and mercy have followed me all the days of my life. Now, you draw a comparison with the fool that we've been talking about. And you'll get tired of this terminology, but it's very real. The foolishness of chasing after wealth and not using it well when we get it is absolutely foolish. Now, Jesus spoke again about that fool in Luke chapter 12. And this man had the eye problem. He was an eye specialist. He says, I will do this. I will do that. I will break down my barns. I will build bigger barns. I will store my stuff in there. And I will say to myself that I will eat, drink, and marry. His life was entirely about himself. And he ended his days with an overflowing financial cup. It was empty, probably relationally, but on his wealth it was overflowing. And Jesus came to him, and the angel came and said, you fool, tonight your soul will be required of you. These are tough truths, people. We need to grasp them. With every privilege of the overflowing cup comes a responsibility. Some people will go out and get a bigger cup so they can store more. Why they would do that, I have no idea. But they will do that instead of letting that cup. I went to a wedding once where they had this pyramid of wine glasses. I'm sure you've seen that. And they fill the top one at the top and it overflows to the next row. And then that one overflows to the next one, down to the bottom. And that's the picture of what our lives should be like. We should be like that cup at the top, that as it overflows, we only have so much in the cup, and then it overflows into the person next to us and below us, and until everybody around us has an overflowing cup. Here's the verse for today. Proverbs 11 verse 10 says this, when the righteous prosper, the city rejoices. You know why? Because when the righteous prosper, their cup overflows to those around them, to those next to them, to those below them. That's how God has planned that it should be. I think the truth of what we want to say together today is that he thinks he wins when he wins, but he loses because he wins alone. Think about that for a moment. Winning alone. What's the use of that? Winning on your own is a miserable place to be, but when we win together and people benefit from our win, that's what the true Christian experience should be about. I hope that you'll take these truths this week that we've spoken about and ponder them. Think about the temptation that wealth can be to you. Think about the blessing that it can be to others and plan your life around that. And we'll finish the subject on Monday next week. Thanks guys for listening. I hope you have a fantastic day and a wonderful weekend. God bless you all.